Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Queen Game and studying on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir. So y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm January up and let's go. Alrighty. I can't believe she was right. Conrad wasn't who we thought he was. Well, who I thought he was, because apparently I'm the only one who was left in the dark. This is it. I think this finally has the... In my excitement, I nearly tossed the piece of paper across the room, but I managed to feel myself steady. However, I didn't account for a gust of wind, chillier than anything I've ever felt during autumn, come rushing through the window. Like a spectral thief, it scoops up the paper out of my hands. In the moment, it almost feels like it's yanked out of my loosened grip. Both of us can only watch in shock as it slides across the floor, not beyond the door. Oh, crap! Wait! Not able to think of anything but the possibility of losing these answers I've been hunting for, causes my body to lurch before my mind can even process everything. I'm off the bed and running across the room. I can hear the thunderous steps of Oscar right behind me. I think I can hear him telling me something as I reach the door, but I'm already pushing through it. For a second, I can see the paper flittering through the air, and I take a step towards it, only where there should be the floor. My feet continue to drop until they encounter a chill. I'm not able to process anything as I'm plunged into the water. For a moment, I thought it might be like that when I dived into the pool. Now I would wake up any moment now. But there's something here that doesn't feel the same. There's a current I can feel pulling me along, and more importantly, I can see the glimpse of light that must have fallen through. Not wanting to wait around for the blue water to save me, I swim back to the surface. I expected the distance to increase like those nightmares at the never-ending hallway, but nothing like that happens. It keeps getting close until I'm thrusting myself back through into the hallway. Except it isn't the correct hallway, and I already know where I am the moment I catch a glimpse of my surroundings. Deep down, a part of me felt like this was going to happen, but the rest of me held out hope that it wouldn't. I just had a moment from all the stress I've been going through, but this is exactly what I'd feared. It's the cruise ship from the nightmare, though it looks slightly different. Everything is more run down in this area. The paint is peeling off, and rust is starting to show around the creases. It doesn't feel as inviting as it had the first few times, and something about the atmosphere feels heavier. I'd hope after my lack of a nightmare last night that maybe things were finally beginning to calm down. As if we just went through the worst of the storm was passing. But something tells me things have gotten much, much worse. Last night wasn't the finale. It was just opening the floodgates. Not wanting to wait around for anything more to go wrong, I start to wade my way through the water, which comes up to my knees. I don't know how Oscar managed to rush through this while carrying me through the hospital. I'm barely a few feet before I'm panting. And back then, it went all the way up to his waist. I can't let myself end up in a situation like that. If I need to start swimming and I don't have Oscar or even that blue spirit that seems to be helping us, I don't think I can stop myself from being swept away. As I hunt for whatever I need to escape this nightmare, dimension, whatever this place is, all I can think about is my arrival in this place. It feels so different from the rest. Despite how sudden all through of the times I've been brought here, there was something strange leading up to them beforehand, almost like a warning. Even the nightmare I had on the third day of class, before everything with the hospital and cruise ship. There'd always been something that makes my hair stand on end. All the previous times there were some strange sounds before it happened. The phone message, the car horn, and even the waves in the shower. All of them sent a chilling wave through him. It was like a warning of the danger coming. But there hadn't been anything like that this time. One moment I was walking into the hallway and then I wasn't. Is Oscar here as well? If last night is any indication, I'd have to assume he is, and I need to find him. I just can't get the sinking feeling that this is the sign of something else to come. The other times had a level of build-up to them, but could this just happen to them whenever now? Is this going to affect the others? By the time I'm able to focus on what's going on around me, I've nearly broken into a run trying to hurry up and find Oscar, at least as fast as I can through the thigh-height water. It takes a minute before it truly registers, but it doesn't take me long to realize that the water is slowly rising. This isn't like the hospital where it was a quick rush. This time it's a slow climb. Before I had the luxury of time to trudge my way to find Oscar, but now I need to hurry up and find him before we find out how realistic these nightmares truly are. There's one thing for certain, though. There's no way this doesn't have to do with the diary in some way. I've been looking for excuses to not believe something so strange, but it seems to be true. I don't know why last night happened, but all the other times has been after reading the diary and with all the pages scattered about. There's no way it's not connected. It must be haunted or some other supernatural answer I don't know. And there's too many answers I don't know. Why the diary relates to something like this. I could potentially come up with reasons why the diary might connect to the hospital or that twisted school. But what But what good connection is there between Helena and this cruise ship? There hasn't been any mention of one in any of the entries, and it doesn't seem like her mother frequents them either, with how much emphasis Helena places on her being a homebody. There's one good thing to come from all this. There's no way that the page that flew away from them isn't the answer to get away from here, though it was never the reason why he got out of the others. It was always the moment right before everything got awful. My thought process is interrupted as I walk into what seems to be an interconnecting area of the ship. Hallways spray out in each direction, and there's a stairwell that looks to lead both up and down. Not wanting to stay on this floor for longer than necessary, I approach the stairs only to see just how flooded we truly are. The entire lower area of the stairwell is completely flooded, and the murkiness of the water stops me from seeing what's down there. Just the thought of being trapped down there sends a shiver down my spine. I never had to truly consider drowning until now, and it's something I never want to think of again. Suddenly unable to stand the water around my waist, I climb up the step to the next floor. For all I know, the Page or Oscar might be somewhere on this floor, but there isn't going to be much I can do if I stay in a flooded hallway. It wouldn't have been long before I couldn't stand any longer, and I need to be saved. The change in the floor is immediately noticeable. I didn't notice just how freezing the previous floor was, and how much my body had been shivering, but the air is much warmer here. It's like, water time. Alright, y'all, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back into it, shall we? But the biggest chance is that this floor looks significantly more presentable than where I'd been. Despite hoping that I completely escaped the rushing water for now, that must have been a foolish dream because somehow this area looks worse. The floor isn't flooding yet, but the amount of water running down the walls is more than concerning. Some areas almost look like it's beginning to dent into some areas of the walls as if the water pressure is crushing whatever we're in. Are we fully submerged in water? But I'm not paying attention to any of that. I'm focused on the floating figure standing in the middle of the room, staring at me like it's been awaiting for my arrival. There's no excitement in its form, just cold ambivalence. But just like before, there doesn't seem to be any hostility, and it almost looks sad to see me. But maybe I'm projecting. You're here to help us, right? But the figure didn't answer. Not I expected it to, but it would have been nice to find something certain around here. I have to trust in something, though. Can you help me find a way out? They circle around me for a moment, but it doesn't seem like they're trying to find anything in particular. They just seem curious. It would be cute if it wasn't for the horrifying circumstances. With what sounds like an excited bubbling, it swims towards one of the hallways, stopping next to it to wait for me to catch up. I don't waste any time. I've already fully committed to trusting them. As soon as we enter the hallway, I can see the sound of bending metal and water spraying coming from one of the other hallways, but the spirit doesn't look particularly rushed. I guess it's to be expected around here. The more we travel down this hallway, the stranger everything feels. It suddenly feels less like a cruise ship and more like a regular building. The opulent carpet and furniture is completely replaced with cold, sanitized linoleum flooring. Despite the sudden change, something tells me that this is the right way, and it isn't just the guiding hand of the spirit. The atmosphere in this place feels suffocating and deeply personal. The spirit stops in front of one of the doors, but I didn't need to realize this was important. It looked completely different to anything I'd seen in this place. Most of the doors would be what you'd expect, wooden locked doors that stop you from going or seeing what's inside. It's private. But this one is black, sleek, and having a large window running along the side of it. Peeking through it doesn't seem to help. There's nothing blocking, but for some unknown reason I can't make out what's inside. This doesn't belong here. Thank you for helping me. I don't know exactly what you are, but you've saved me again. Their expression doesn't change, and the only sign of emotion is a simple flick of their tackle. But they look quite satisfied with themselves to me. It feels almost childish, and it's enough to help me break my first real smile since this new nightmare happened. It doesn't last long as well. I might be safe, that might not be the case for somebody else. Do you know if Oscar is somewhere around here? He's a large otter that's always pulled in with me. I'm cut off by the familiar sound of metal bending, but this time it's much larger and I feel the entire ship start to tilt to the side. Whatever just happened can't be good. That's further supported by the instant change of demeanor from the spirit. They immediately dart to the side, rushing towards the direction of the noise. Not thinking, I try to reach out to stop it. I don't know if it's because I'm worried for it or myself, but it doesn't matter as my hand glides right through their tail. It isn't like how I imagined phasing through a ghost would feel. If this creature is a ghost, it isn't like running through nothingness. It feels closer to sliding my hand through jello that hasn't been properly set. thick and wet, but not enough to put up any kind of resistance from my hand as it completely slides through, leaving no indication anything happened at all. It does succeed at its job, though, as the spirit stops for a moment, looking back at me as if surprised. I'm not sure if it's because I touched it or because I tried to stop it at all. Another groan from the metal knocks the creature out of its daze, and after one final glance in my direction, it disappears in the direction of the noise. The boat tilts further, and I have to settle myself to stay on my feet. We're still upright, but I'm not sure how long it will last for, so I quickly enter the room next to me, hoping that if it is an exit, that Oscar would be able to find it too. It isn't a portal back home, but it does feel like I've stepped into a different world entirely. Inside the room looks to be some kind of a study area. I might have thought this could have been an office inside the ship if it wasn't aesthetically completely different from the place. The carpet is green and feels significantly cheaper than anywhere else I've been, including the flooded lower deck. What's most striking is the table sitting in the middle. They look just like the ones from the university. Taking a step in, I nearly let the door behind me close before I hear the sound of someone running down the hallway. A wave of relief flows through me as I dash back out the door. After nearly tripping from catching my foot on the elevated carpet, I catch Oscar scatting around the opposite end of the hallway. He's facing away from me, but must have heard my excitement as he quickly turns around. He looks just as relieved as I feel as he skips down the hallway, suddenly looking a lot more nonchalant about everything than the rigid back I just saw. You had a wild goose chase there, didn't you? If you were gonna go down an entire floor, could you have waited up? At least it looks like you found the exit. Huh? What do you mean? The exit right there. Please don't tell me only I can see that. I've really had enough of these supernatural surprises. No, not that. I mean, I don't think it's an exit, but that's not what I'm confused about. What do you mean I led you around? I mean, you were the one who was making all the noises to get me to follow you, man. I don't know what else you call that, unless you got a fun new name for it. Led me down the stairs and everything. No, that couldn't have been me. I've only been here in the next floor down. I haven't been higher. Well, that's concerning, isn't it? What was I hearing, then? There's definitely a person trying to lead me here. I have a pretty good idea. They must have scouted out Oscar before I asked them about him, but they didn't seem to want to reveal themselves to him. We'll have to talk about this when we're not dealing with the nightmare dimension. Thankfully, he doesn't seem particularly interested in dwelling on it either. I guess his bad habits work out in my favor sometimes. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon, YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!